And for the daytime in the Coachella Valley, sunny, high mid-70s. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
Welcome to the morning show. It's here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. We're good to have each and every one of you. Wherever you're tuning in, make sure to follow us on social media. We know your radio devices are very dependable, and we appreciate you for doing us on the drive and then some. But do remember, we're on Alexa, we're on your app, on your phone, on your mobile device. KMET 1490 AM is where it's at. You just find us there. You'll be able to follow us for the rest of life, or at least until you have your phone lost. Here, can I make a recommendation, everybody, which I have not done in the past? Always back up your phone. That's number one. Number two, if your phone gets stolen or you lose it, you're going to love it if it has the Find My Phone feature, right? If I learned anything from getting beaten up about a couple weeks ago, it's this. I hate losing my memories, okay? I hate losing my photos. I hate losing all the stuff I have in a phone. And with Androids, I don't know how to work it. I know with iPhones, they're kind of already set up that way. So, you set up your account, and then it kind of goes from phone to phone to phone. But Androids, I'm not sure it works that way, and I just don't know what to do. But I will say this. Good news on the home front. The detective finally called me from South Central PD. And so I'm excited about it, as you can imagine. So I have a feeling justice is going to be served more than not. This detective is very much on it. He went down there yesterday to the McDonald's to figure it out. And we might even get the footage of how I got beaten to a pulp, literally. I don't mind saying it because, boy, did I get bloodied and then some. He called it an altercation. I think he misread the report that I made because I think he thought I got kind of like away from people. So I think he was like, this happened in the middle of McDonald's, because everybody asked me that. Did it happen in the bathroom? Did it happen in the middle of McDonald's? It happened literally near the cashier in front of a bunch of people. So what didn't happen in front of a bunch of people was when I followed him outside with my cell phone to make sure that we could, eventually track him, because he's wearing what a lot of people are wearing, which I say is dummy, because they wear a face mask, right? Obviously. But they hide the rest of their face. So you see their eyes, but you don't see the rest of them. So he stole the phone, and once the detective found that out, he said, okay, then basically he stole the phone because I had video of him. I said, exactly. I said, I had two phones. Thank God he didn't steal my other phone, but he did steal the phone with his picture and the video rolling of him attacking me. So I got further proof. So if they do get the guy, then they'll get, hopefully, my phone back. I hope, unless he trashed it or then so. But I have a feeling he probably kept it, but he probably couldn't get into it. So make sure your passwords are valid. Make sure you never get attacked. But I'm telling you, it can happen out of nowhere. Right, Jesse?
It really can. You don't know what will set anybody off. Shoot, my mom went to the store one time, and I swear she's not allowed to go to the store by herself, but it's just like one little thing, like either somebody cut in front of her or something like that. You know what? They just want a little thing, and it'll set them off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you have to be careful. And I will say, some people told me, I've talked to an attorney about this. I've talked to a couple other people, just as friends, not like, as I'm going to do anything about it. But each and every person says, I think you have a case, but it's not really against this guy. It's about McDonald's. And I'll talk about that in a future show. But here's my point in this. If you ever feel like it's not going to go anywhere, here's what I'm going to say. Try to make sure it goes somewhere. Okay? If you ever get beaten down, it's not fun to admit you got beaten. All right? It's not fun. It's not fun to feel like you don't know what to do in the end. I knew right away I wanted to report this guy as soon as he came at me. Now, I didn't attack him back. And the only reason I didn't attack him back was because I was already like, okay, I get it. You did a cheap shot. Because he literally did. He kept doing cheap shots. Now, I'm not saying don't fight back for your life, right? Fight back for your life. But what I do want to say is, when you do fight back, sometimes it could be slanted against you. Because now it's seen as kind of like a wrestle against each other. You know what I mean? Kind of like the videos that sometimes we see in the news, and you see everybody fighting, and then you see the one guy, you're like, well, he started it. And then you see the gang up on one person, you're like, well, he probably started it. They're all talking about each other. But still, it's a crime to beat up anybody. Whoever throws the first punch technically is in the wrong. Okay? And everybody needs to remember that, especially in this day and age, because people are getting beat up out of nowhere. We've seen elderly ladies get punched in the face out of nowhere. We've seen elderly men who drive Lyft get punched with a gun, right? We've seen that. Thank God it was caught on camera. Thank God for cameras. I will say this. Anybody that says we live in a camera age and I don't care about my privacy is ahead of it, because you want cameras in these areas. I guarantee you, if there was no camera in sight, I would have nothing at the end of the day. I really would. So I'm glad that McDonald's has rolling cameras, because there's some things I disagree with them. For example, are you allowed to use a restroom at a McDonald's? Jesse, what do you say?
I want to say yes.
Not when they hold it from you?
Oh yeah, because they were closed, right, due to COVID.
No, it wasn't due to COVID. There's no COVID order that says close the restrooms.
Oh, they're just lazy and didn't want to clean it. Gotcha.
Well, they don't want people coming in, using the restroom, and not ordering food. Now, do you think that's right?
Wow. So that sucks. What if there was an emergency and someone needed to use the restroom?
That was my emergency. I had to go diarrhea.
There you go. It's like, oh my God. I'm like, where do you want me to go? Outside your store? I'll do it.
That's the only reason I went to McDonald's. People were like, why did you go to that McDonald's? I go, because it was on the way. I had to go westward to Santa Monica so I could pick up a device for a TV channel network that we're launching very soon. Surprise! Here's the announcement. Here's the news of the day, okay? I'm going to announce this right now. We're launching a TV network that I should have launched several years ago. And I'm happy to announce this because I love, those that are doing it with me. And I want to say this. That was the whole reason for me to go westward. Or I was going westward to pick up a device to help this TV network literally go the next level in the next couple of days, okay? But when I did, I needed to use the restroom. We all know when nature calls, it comes, right? Like, you don't ask for it. So when you're driving and you're not near your home and you don't want an accident to happen, where are you going to go, Jesse?
Wherever place I can go to, which is honestly a McDonald's because they're freaking everywhere.
And that's what I did. So when they were not allowing me to go in, I was a little like, are you kidding me? And I said literally to the cashier, where can I use the restroom? He goes, oh, Jack in the Box down the street. Yeah, I was like that too. I'm like, you're literally throwing me over to Jack in the Box. I gotta go down the street when you have two working restrooms right here, a women and a men's. They weren't out of order, Jesse. They were fully functioning.
Were they locked? Did you need a key?
They have those number systems. You have to find the code.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I've never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to put in the code. So it's like 1234 or 4648 or 7182. A lot of restrooms have this, like stores, for example. Vaughn's. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I went to Best Buy, okay, and I needed to use the restroom before I returned a laptop. Not going to lie, this laptop is a huge, don't ever buy this laptop, okay? It's expensive, but it's a pain in the butt. The fan is way too loud. Anyway, I had to take back a Best Buy device, right? And I needed to use the restroom. The restroom was completely open, just like most restaurants where you just kind of go in, you don't have to put a code in, and you just go in, right? For those that suffer an emergency, known as when nature calls, you go in, you use it, and you leave, right? Now, I know during coronavirus, especially like in 2020, all right, everybody was kind of like weird, especially in San Bernardino and Riverside, because I remember being like at CVS and they wouldn't let us use the restroom. My mom really needed to use the restroom. What do you do for a senior citizen that A, is getting a flu shot, and B, needs to use the restroom, but you're not allowing them to? What do you do, especially when you're far from home? What do you do eventually, Jesse?
Oh, I have no idea other than going to the nearest gas station, or I've always had plenty. I always go to Denny's sometimes. They have nice restrooms.
Now, that's the smartest thing. I've had to do that. I've had to go to restaurants that have 24/7, service, if they have that sometimes. Sometimes they don't. I feel sorry for Lyft drivers because I ask Lyft drivers that do like midnight shifts, I go, where do you go to the restroom? And they almost don't say it. I'm like, do you go in a bucket? What do you do, right? But because there's no one open after, like, I'll be honest, Best Buy closes at 7. I can't believe they close at 7. They're open at 11. I thought they'd open at 9. They don't. They're open from 11 to 7. How you get to stay in business when you only sell products at that point? So my point is this, and everybody thinking right now, think this for a minute. Where would you use the restroom if you were a traveler or a visitor or you're visiting mama or papa down the street and you need to use the restroom before you get there? What are you going to do?
That's actually a really good idea. To be honest, I've never really thought about it.
Yeah, if you were a traveler going anywhere, here's my recommendation. Go for a store first. That's number one. Because I've been where, I mean, let's face it, lactose intolerant. If I have a little bit too much cheese, you have a little too much cheese, Jesse, what ends up happening to us?
I don't know what happens to you, but yeah, I'm on the ground crippled in pain, so.
Exactly. Okay, thank you for saying that. But the reality is, you go, oh crap, literally, right? And then you go crap, right? So my point is this, do you wear diapers? I would say no, but for senior citizens, some do actually, right? Maybe they have little wet moments. We all get that, right? Known as, senior citizen. Maybe the bladder isn't as good as it used to be, right? It is weird out there when you don't let people use the restroom, especially a public restroom. You're supposed to let a public restroom be allowed, and I get it for those that say we don't want homeless people in our restrooms, but even then that's mean. Even then that's wrong. Even they sometimes, with the money that they're given on the outside, buy some food. Why would you not let them use the restroom? Now, I'll tell you why for a really quick second. They don't want to clean it up, okay? And I get it. Some leave it trash in there, but that's part of the duties, literally, right? Part of the duties of the restaurant managers, employees, and the like is they have a certain amount of things to do, which is keep the restroom clean. I know I used to work at a Red Lobster, and we had a series of things that you had to do in between your shifts, and you had to go check in on the restroom, and you remember that, right, Jesse? Do you remember?
I used to work at a Hollywood Video. Every Sunday. I don't know what this kid would eat, but he would destroy our restrooms.
Okay. I get that, right? But you as an employee have to do what with that restroom?
Yes. We always clean it. We sanitize it and stuff. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, all right? It's the nature of being human. We all have to do it at one point in our lives. That's why I say to people that are all kind of obnoxious, I go, do you use the same restroom as me? Did you sit on the same toilet? Did I sit basically where you sat? Then we're basically equal, okay? I don't want to hear anything else, all right? But at the end of the day, when you got to go, right? So my point is this. In this day and age, why are people being like, hey, you can't use our restroom, when in reality you have a public restroom? Technically, it's against the law. People don't know this. If you are disabled, there are ADA acts that say you are allowed to use the restroom no matter what. And if they refuse you entrance, you can actually sue. Did you know that, Jesse?
I did not know that, and that's actually pretty good to know.
Yeah, take a disabled person with you every single day and make sure they go to different restrooms. Go, okay, note to self. Now let's go to social media. Let's see what you guys say there. Let's see if you agree or disagree. Let's see. Rosalie says this. Starbucks has the code, but they give you the code. It's just a security for non-customers to use it. But even McDonald's here in Fresno aren't allowing usage to customers. Ridiculous. They'll take your cash, but not let them use the restrooms. It's funny you say that. That's exactly what I said to the patrons at the McDonald's. I said, do you think that it's right? And I said, look, I work with ABC News. I kind of want to get somebody on video about this because I've been seeing this to be a thing. Do you think it's right that we give them our hard-earned cash to buy food, but we can't use the restroom, which is obviously there? It makes no sense. So I say McDonald's, corporate, maybe, just maybe, and Rosie, I'm glad you're saying this, because some of them are somewhat private owned, meaning they're franchisees, right? And that's what McDonald's technically goes under. But just because they're franchisees doesn't mean they cannot go through the code of ethics of corporate. So at the end of the day, corporate's going to hear about this, I guarantee you. Because what I saw happen after I got beat was everybody was being allowed to use the restroom. So somebody got called out, right? Now, here's my point in saying that. I know we're all in coronavirusville. I get that. I know others don't want homeless people using the restrooms. I get that too. I know some homeless people get a little out there. I know it. I've seen it. Okay? I know, though, if it were you or worse yet, your children. I saw people being turned away that have children. Do you think that's right, Jesse?
No, not at all. And if it was my kid, I would go in front of the McDonald's door. I'd be like, "Well, since you didn't want me to use your restroom, I'm gonna go right here. You think I'm an animal or a savage? This is what I'm gonna do."
You know what? I can see your mom doing that, actually. But and that's my point. So I bring it up not to complain, but to bring awareness to people to say, hold up. If we're going to give you our hard-earned cash and you have a restroom and you're not letting us use it, that's wrong. Now, I will say this. I did go to Starbucks, which happens to be in the same area. It's like 3 blocks down from the McDonald's that didn't let me. All right. And I did it differently at a different stage. And they let me use the restroom freely. Okay. It was simple.
What place? Starbucks?
Yeah, Starbucks.
Didn't they say something about a few years back, all Starbucks restrooms are for the public no matter what?
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what McDonald's has to go through.
Yeah, probably, because this happened like a few years back. There was like a giant thing, and because some people weren't allowed to use the restroom, so corporate for Starbucks, you're like, you know what? Everyone can use the restroom whether you're homeless or not. Blah blah blah.
Well, look, I get that homeless sometimes don't clean up. I get that. Yeah. I get Montezuma's revenge is sometimes really bad with him. Now, I get public health, and I get the fact that people go, well, again, coronavirus could be spread anywhere. I get that too. But if you allow them to eat in your restroom, you should be not in your restroom, sorry. If you allow them to eat in your place of establishment, well, if you have a restroom and it's a public one, you should allow them to use it because they're just going to crap outside around the corner. Now you got more of a mess. Why let them use that or do that? Because an accident is an accident is an accident, right? And if you have kids, guaranteed you're not going to want to take them to that McDonald's, right? Which I saw kids, being in there throughout the day because I went back to be able to report my situation. And even though I didn't get to see cops that day, I went the very next day and made the report at the PD station, okay? And that's where the story kind of rounds about, and that now the detective's in contact with me, and he said he would get me the video footage so we could show it, so we could capture the guy and then some. So I'm happy for that. As soon as I get it, I'll definitely be broadcasting here. But here's my point. It's wrong to lock up the restrooms against those that need it. Okay? Clean it up. If you're lazy, don't be lazy. And if you're McDonald's, seriously, do you want people to eat there or not? That's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right, going to take a quick little break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages.
KMET presents the Heart to Heart radio show every Thursday afternoon beginning at 4 p.m. Heart to Heart grapples with personal issues of addiction recovery, sex therapy, relationships, and trauma. With over 60 years of combined counseling experience, Dr. Mitra and Dr. Robert discuss lifestyles and treatments to help you cope and achieve the inner peace you may be seeking. The Heart to Heart radio show is here for you every Thursday afternoon beginning at 4 o'clock p.m.
Attention homeowners, spending more time around your house means you're putting more stress on major appliances that keep your home running. Like many Americans, a major breakdown could be very costly during these uncertain times. AC unit goes, that's $4,500. Water heater breaks, $1,500. When you own a home, it's always something. If you have a home warranty, those repairs could cost you nothing. A Home Service Club warranty pays for the repair or replacement of your home appliances and systems when they break down, even from normal wear and tear. For about $1 a day, you can cover your home appliances and systems. It's not a question of if they'll break down, it's when. If you call now, you'll get your first month free and $75 off your first year. Make home appliances